All right. Let's introduce the jurors. Bonnie,
Bonnie Blandford, retired and enjoying it. I've done a lot of jurying. I've run 3 art fairs, and I did art fairs with my jewelry for 43 years.
Barry,
I've been doing art fairs for 40 years. I taught as a grad assistant at Northern Michigan University. I was partial owner of a gallery for 12 years. When I was in high school, I was a ballroom dance champion, and my pieces look just like that's my dancing. That's where I get the images from.
Neil.
You learn something new every time you talk to Barry. Every time.
Eat
Every time.
that one,
I'm
Camille.
holding back. What can I say?
I'm Camille Marchese. I'm the executive director at the Coconut Grove Arts Festival. Prior to this, I was with Winter Park for 23 years, and I've basically been volunteering at art festivals since 1985. So how about that? As somebody pointed out, that's 40 years, Camille.
That's
So
right. That's right.
Yeah, Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon McAllister. I am the founder and currently back as a director for Art Fest Fort Myers. I tried to retire a couple years ago, but you can see how that worked out.
All right.
I'm trying to change my name, but I've forgotten how to do that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Are these other people our victims?
Oh, the recipients of great concept and discussion.
That's right. Yeah, same thing.
All right. January 7th, mock jury. What more is there to say? How do I get rid of these pictures of people?
I don't see any of them. I just see us.
That's what I mean. I have to get rid of that.
he doesn't want our faces, Barry.
Okay.
Um,
He
I think
wants the
you just
images big.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
try that again.
Maybe one of those icons at the top.
Actually, it says I'm sharing the screen, but it's not.
I can see your screen.
I can too.
I
Yeah.
can too.
Yeah, me too. Me three.
Okay, you see the image now?
Not yet.
Well, see the image, but we're still on you can
The
see
home
us too.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can see your introduction screen.
right. I'm trying to get rid of the picture of the four faces at the bottom. They changed Zoom.
How do you
I
do that?
think would it be under
Do we have to do it individually? Let me see what this does.
Now there. Okay, I got it.
you got it?
Nope,
Okay.
we're still there.
Oh, I don't see you, but
I
you
think you have to go under view,
All right.
but I can't do it for you. Yeah.
okay,
Oh
view.
no. Did I just do that or did
Now I did it.
We don't have that power, Barry.
no, I clicked at the same time he did. So I thought, oh
But we
no.
lost the image of his
How'd you do it last time?
I think you did it. Whatever you did it.
Really?
That's a problem with these programs. They work just the way you want them to, and then, you know, some person that just graduated with their MBA from some college who thinks they know better and they change it. Now we got to figure out how to, okay, now that's
Okay,
huge.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
could do it.
Zoom has screwed everything up. All right, here's the first presentation.
there. That'll work.
Okay, but
Really?
I can't read it because everything is hidden. Okay, still hidden. All right, here we
What do you
go.
want to be able to read, Larry?
The artist statement. Okay, antique papers are painted with ink, then cut and pasted into joyful large-scale collages. The found materials are as old as the 1800s and include blueprints, player piano paper, braille, penmanship lessons, canceled checks, and O'Mately handwritten ledgers. And do you see anything blocking the images at the top?
Nope.
Okay,
Oh,
good. Okay, now she also submitted a second presentation with the bin.
Yeah, I still have everybody over on the right, and the only way I can see the booth image is if you highlight it, and make it bigger. So
Barry,
go
go
up
to
to
view
view.
and see if you can knock it, see if you can change it that way for yourself.
Mhm.
That's how I did it.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
you
Okay,
did it? Oh yeah, you did it individually.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
all right.
Um,
How's this?
okay, I got rid of it. That worked.
There you go.
Okay, so it's with and without the bin. Comments?
Wouldn't that
Which is
just,
this one? Is this the first one or the second one?
It's the same person.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean the im. Okay, never mind.
The booth is the only difference is the booth.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
see the
Okay,
first one. Oh, there. Oh, that or the other one.
Right.
for an all originals show, I would use the one without the
mhm.
flip bin. But for one where you're going to be selling out of your flip bin, they need to put the flip bin in. I will say that the tree that's in the center is extremely eye catching,
Mhm.
as is the one to the right. I like the booth very much.
Yeah, it's a clean booth. It's all level.
Yeah, I like the booth image and I agree with what Bonnie says. I think it's a lovely application.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think she sells reproductions. They may be originals in the bin.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I
But
think in an all original show, they may not realize that,
that's right.
you know?
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. And I don't think anybody would hold it against her at an original show if she had a bin with originals in it and it wasn't in her booth shot,
yeah.
you
In
know?
fact, I would not. I would take I would do the booth shot without the bin.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
For an original show, but if she's doing it for other shows that aren't just originals, then you don't know what's in that bin, and I would make sure that it was in the image, in the presentation.
Mhm.
But this is
I
a
would
gorgeous,
too.
I've seen this presentation. We thought it was gorgeous when it came in.
Yeah. Okay.
Really nice. And I like the treatment of the smaller pieces
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
where it's all a grouping over
yeah.
on the left.
Yeah, it's a good looking booth.
Okay.
Very, very nice.
Okay. Stoneware pottery that is wheel thrown and altered using texturing, slip trailing, and ash glazes.
All right.
And I should tell you, she doesn't do outdoor shows anymore. That's why it's an indoor booth.
Mhm.
Um, uh, the pieces are nice. I think they're well done. Um, the booth, I would have more of a gallery look, not like shelves with the stuff on it tilted sideways. That it might be my preference, but I'd rather not.
Yeah.
At least if you're gonna have those, at least straighten them out.
Well, I'm sure they put them crooked so that we could see them,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
the jury could see them. I have a, I hope that's not her.
Now,
Um, I don't like the curtain color. If
Mhm.
those are the artist curtains, I would
No,
change them up.
it's probably a rental.
now,
You
No?
know, I can't see the work well enough
You mean in the
because I
there?
really like the work, the individual images, but it's a
I
clean booth.
Mhm.
It's a clean booth, but that corner, the corner, in the center, that corner piece, because it has the stuff behind it, it's distracting me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
You
distracting.
can't see it unless you're right up close to it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm not really fond of the crates with the shelves because you can't see the pieces behind. Like, you know, it's just not showing the work to its full beauty.
Yeah, those are Pro Panels desks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say this booth would look better if it was just pro panels and the work was on the
Yeah.
shelves in the pro panels. It cuts out the drapage in the back. Drayage. I think it's called drayage.
Drapes.
Well, I
Yeah.
think not, and this isn't the subject here, but there's both the issue of the jury and getting in. I would venture that her sales would be much higher if that was pro-paneled and shelved that way, or
Yeah.
because this is too much, particularly depending on the show you're at. If you're in Florida, this is way too much bending over for our audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The stuff
Yeah.
needs to
well,
be
Mhm.
up where I can see it at
well,
Well,
for any
anywhere.
audience.
Get the pieces off the ground.
right,
Right,
up
right.
where I can see stuff. So I would think it would have a big impact on sales, which is a separate subject from the jury here, but it probably would also make the jury images much stronger to have them up off.
Here's the thing: the teapot is really the nicest piece of all these pieces. And she does a
At
really good job
first.
with ash glaze
Mhm.
or fake ash glaze, having it run. But you can't see any of that in the booth shot. So
Hmm.
I would kind of do it a little differently, where you could highlight some of the best parts of the pieces.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the problem is I just shot these pieces like a couple of weeks ago, but the booth picture is an old booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks,
Mhm.
I would put number 4 in the number 1 position.
Yeah, it's facing the wrong way.
Or flip it
Oh,
over.
flip it.
Get get over the which way
That's
it's
funny.
facing. It's
That
not going to keep me as a juror. It is not going to keep me from looking to the right just because the spout looks to the left on the first piece.
Well, listen, it's the first piece I looked at was the teapot.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's good to
Yeah.
know.
Well, I'm
I'm doing
thinking
it
that
from a potter's
somebody needs to
perspective.
teach Larry how to flip a photograph.
Right.
Really?
That's great.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll take a 10-minute break and I'll redo it.
Just see if
All
you
right.
can flip that photograph over.
Right. All
But
right.
they're nice images, Larry.
Yeah, very
They're
nice.
nice images. I feel like the booth shot makes it look a little crafty rather than fine,
Yeah, that's what I was saying about,
There you
you know,
go.
you know?
Yeah.
I'd have pedestals.
Yeah, because so the work is good, but it looks crafty.
Mhm.
That makes it look crafty.
Yeah, she told me she was next to me the first show she ever did, and that was like 35 years ago at Three Rivers.
Wow.
And then she stopped doing, it was such a bad experience being next to you
No,
that she stopped for 20 years.
she remembered me telling her that she needed to raise her prices.
A common thing with potters.
All right. Imaginative, surrealistic interpretations of the experience of being in nature.
Okay, this reminds me, the very first one needs work on the artist statement.
Yeah, yeah.
Much too wordy.
It doesn't
And you
say
kind of
anything.
lose me halfway through.
It's not saying anything.
So,
Well, it's
pardon?
not materials and technique.
Yeah. And
Right.
we have to be careful what we're saying. There's artist statement and there's what it actually asks you to have is like
Mhm.
materials and technique.
Not inspiration.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this one is I don't know anything about the technique of this.
Okay.
Right.
Now she also has
This-
a second presentation with a different booth picture.
Can you enlarge the booth thing?
Yes.
Can we see
Yeah,
that?
headache.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, actually, both her booth pictures look really nice.
Go back
I
to the
like
other
this.
one. I'm sorry.
I like this one better.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, this one's way better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the circles more on the back wall than in the front corners.
Well, you have that one big piece on the back wall, and that's nice.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't like about the other booth image is it gives me a headache. It's
Yeah,
got
I was
too
going to say the
many,
same thing.
too much up and down. I like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Too
that
much
gives
to
me a
look
headache.
at.
Okay. Well, that's the
Okay.
feedback she
Hey,
was looking
let me
for.
ask you guys something. There's no space to get in the back.
That
It-
doesn't matter
Don't care.
because when you set up in your backyard to take a picture,
Right.
you don't have to, but that isn't representational of what your booth's going to look like.
well, it is. The only
And
difference
that
may be one of the back panels may be moved forward 3 feet.
Mhm.
I will tell you that is one of the things that bugs me about people that set up just a solid U. I'd like to see what it's actually going to look like at my show.
Yeah, I agree. I strongly agree with that. I want the booth shot should be what the booth looks like when you set up at a show, not some thing that you make up, make it look nice and put in your backyard. I want to see what it actually looks like.
You know,
Warts and all.
That's just me.
50
I would
percent of the
agree
booth pictures,
100%.
Nobody listens to me, but that's what I
No, no,
feel.
no.
50,
I
I
50
agree with
percent of
you.
the
Okay.
who 50% of the booth pictures are set up for the picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, because okay, for my own booth, I have a problem because I don't have anything. I have a door, I have a like a pathway into the back through the middle. And so I put my stuff on the sides, whereas the major place to put the work is right in the middle in the back. So I can't do that because I need to get into the back so I have a problem with that. I'd like to see it the way it actually looks, you know. In other words, that's a problem to work out for every uh, artist. How do you get to your secondary work, or if you sell something, how do you get to your wrapping material and all that
No.
stuff? You know, so I think that's part of it. That should be part of it.
All right. Focus on structure to reveal subject's line, pattern, shape, form, rhyme, texture, hue, often in abstraction.
Huh?
Booth needs to be pared down.
Yeah, it's too much.
A lot less work.
Yeah.
And normally I don't worry too much about what's on the ground, but when it's white stripes, somebody needs to Photoshop that out for them.
Yeah. Now, isn't that I think that's a street shot.
Well, it
Right.
is.
Yes,
It's
Yeah.
from a
it is.
show. And actually, there's a second presentation also with different images in it.
So I have a comment though. There was just all this discussion about you want the booth to look like it's going to look at a show.
Yeah.
So this is what it's going to look like there. It's going to have all this extra work. I should not extra. It's going to have all this work in it. But we said on another one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what it's going to look like at a show. So for those folks who are going to look at those directors are going to look at it at a show compared to the jury slide, they're going to, if we pare this down, they're going to say, oh, you have all this stuff on your walls and that's not what you presented. So,
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't have this much on my walls at a show.
Yeah. Neither would I.
but that's not your decision for this artist, how much they have on
No,
their walls. So
No,
if
that's
this
very true.
represents
but we're
what they're
reacting
gonna
to
have,
it.
then
As jurors, we're reacting to it.
Well, for me, I want the booth shot to look like what it's going to look like at my show, and that may mean that that person, I mean, I'm not during my own show, but that's part of it. If this is how you want your work to look, then let the jury,
Right.
judge it that way, you know?
Okay,
Um,
got it.
But, if you're listening to the advice, that's another story, right? I know.
And it might be that your jurors, depending on the show,
Mhm.
think to themselves, oh, well, we really don't want such full walls.
Okay,
And so they make that part of their judgment.
Mhm.
Or they may be fine with full walls. And so they make that part of their judgment, right?
Yeah,
But
it's personal.
but it should be what Camille said earlier, that I want it to look like it's going to look here. Don't give
okay.
me a
Right.
super clean booth and then show up with this one. I just tell us what's going to be.
Yeah,
I would
and
go
the only
right down the
reason,
top of this. This has got too much top on this booth.
yeah,
The
and the
It
booth,
only
doesn't,
reason I agree with Bonnie about photoshopping the lines on the floor is just because that's it's throwing my eye. It's making
Right.
it look like it's even
yeah.
more cluttered.
Yeah.
That's I think part of the problem with that
Mhm.
is that is making it feel like there's more.
Yeah, that
okay.
could be.
Now,
Oh,
here's a second set of images with the same booth picture.
Mhm.
And the question is, which set of images are stronger?
Okay.
Can you go back to the first
wouldn't
again?
that, okay. Wouldn't that come under like we're judging the work and we're not supposed to judge the work?
Well, we're judging the presentation and which is
Presentation of
better
the-
presentation.
Well, for one thing, I don't like their statement.
Well, why don't we stick to figuring out what we think is the best images and then go on to the
Right.
statement?
I think
Right.
but yeah, but they relate to each other. Well, I like these images are better than the first set, or at least they're more coherent.
Well, cohesive, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, then that's good because that's what this person wanted to get out of the mock jury.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
previous set of images goes better with that booth.
The
True.
first set, this set,
This, I think, because the second set is very, um, I don't mean this in a bad way, is blurred out. The images are not as clear. And the images that are in the booth are more clear. To me, that these images don't go with this booth. They might go with the statement, but they don't go with the booth.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is the pictures should be printed in larger sizes and fewer of them hanging in the booth.
Mhm.
maybe being blurry is the intention.
Well, it is.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. It's just that that's not what's really reflected in the tent. So
Yeah.
pictures are beautiful, but which is it that we're representing? What's going to show up at the show? These images or the prior or some mix, because I get that artists evolve.
Probably some mix because
Yeah, I might. Yeah,
they're
I might.
looking for which makes a better jury set.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
just a minute. We
Wait a
need
minute.
to,
Let's go back a second.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we haven't answered.
I had to read that statement 4 times to actually figure out what the hell they were saying or what I think they're saying.
Well, there needs to be commas to break it up.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right. The English isn't so good. I thank my parents for making me do that, to type correctly, speak correctly, and have really good grammar.
Well, it doesn't really tell me anything.
I know that too.
It's not
Well,
materials and technique.
it kind of does.
It's more of inspiration.
Mm. I think
Yeah,
if you put the commas in, I think it would tell you more about the technique and because
Yeah.
then you could read it clearly that it's about the subject's line, pattern, comma, shape, comma, form, comma, ribbon,
Yeah,
and
common
comma,
texture.
texture and hue.
Mm.
You'd start to get more idea of the technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
perfect, but.
Yeah, well, focus on the structure to reveal the subject's line, but often in abstraction. Like
Mhm,
it just needs to be rewritten for sure.
mhm,
Even the commas, then it's the work is often in abstraction or something
mhm.
because it throws it's just too run on.
It could be the work is often an abstraction with a focus on revealing the subject's lines, patterns, blah, 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 with the commas,
Yep,
and put the
there we go.
abstraction 3 or 4 words first.
Yep,
All right,
make it.
onward. Using metals, gemstones, and traditional metalsmith techniques to create unique, timeless, and engaging jewelry.
This person needs new work images.
Yeah, they right here.
Ah.
Okay, Larry, did you shoot the second set?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
The first set looks like they shot it themselves.
right.
Right.
all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
But there's not good cohesiveness
Mm-hmm,
Mm-mm.
between these,
mm-hmm.
which makes me think that they're just beginning and haven't found their voice yet.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
One could help that a lot by dropping the gold earrings and replacing it with silver something.
Yep, I agree.
Because they not just their color, but they don't go with the look of the other three.
Booth image
They could
isn't
have
bad.
Larry fix the booth image so it isn't tilted.
Yeah.
It's just,
I
I
ha-
don't mean this derogatorily, but it's just blah.
Mhm.
There's
Yes.
nothing, there's nothing that would make me dying to go in and see.
well,
Mhm.
first of all, it's that gray tent walls and top. They're not white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jewelry is such a competitive category these days that
Yeah.
you do everything you possibly can to shine, I
I think,
think. And
Yeah.
Yes.
absolutely. I think
I
one thing that, I'm sorry, Camille.
no, I was going to say, and I just don't think this booth shot shines.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the competition is so great that you have to shine. And it
That's
starts here. This is where it starts because that's the first thing, getting into the show. This is the first time anybody's going to see this. So the work could be phenomenal, but you're not going to get to see it,
mm-mm.
beyond this.
I think one thing that could really help this booth shine better, um, is rather the way these signs are in the back, they don't pop the tent.
Well,
If that was a banner that was 10 feet, almost 10 feet wide, all the way across with, um, get rid of all these words and these other green and gold colors and stuff, and put
image.
3 to 4 big images of the work to fill that banner up. So, but then when I look at it, I'm seeing the strongest work the artist has in big pieces, not this
Yes.
hanging sign thing, just
Yeah.
all the way across the back. So forgive me, but I've been working on banners and signs all day, so I'm like,
Well,
Great.
my guess is that there is a banner that goes in the center, but it has their name on it. So
maybe,
they took it down. I hope that's the case.
but even
But
still, you're not banging
I
my
agree
face
with
from
Sharon.
particularly as when you get to the selling part after you get in, but they could really make that pop, and it almost gives them more opportunity for images so that they can sell themselves on a jury because they've got this big, beautiful banner across the back.
Yeah.
Well, there is there anything on the bus that's in the middle? I mean,
Like,
I don't,
Hmm.
is it
I don't
plain? Is
see
it
any.
empty? Like,
it's just hard to see.
It's just
yeah,
delicate.
I don't,
And
is there anything?
actually, it's
You're right. This is,
dropping below
Hmm.
the lid of
Right.
the case.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If you're a juror and you're looking at 200 slides of 200 jewelry applications, you're probably just going to move on.
Right.
You know, that's
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
the real, you know, that's the unfortunate part of this all, right?
Yep.
Okay. Acrylic on canvas, reversing the color palette to create a negative. Layer, swirl, or scrape the final colors on top using bright hues to bring subject to life.
Love it.
Love it.
yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
I
I'd
would
like more if there
switch.
was another vertical in here instead of this horizontal, but
Yep.
There's
And
a
if they're going to use
concept.
the horizontal, put it as number 3. Switch 2 and 3.
mhm.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
It's a solid application and then at
Yeah.
the description solid for
Mhm.
telling you what's happening here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Our wildlife and landscape photography is featured on metal, slate, and matted photo prints. Metal and slate prints are produced using a dye sublimation process. Sublimation process.
Can you blow up the
Booth?
booth image, please?
Yep.
See, now those flip bins and everything look great.
Yeah.
If you have to have them,
Mhm.
Mhm.
And the display of the small work on the little stands on the right.
yeah. That back wall where there are 6 pieces,
Mhm.
it might be better served with like 2 big ones or
Mhm.
Or another panel there with then 3 sets of 2.
No, fill in the door.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the doors shouldn't be open anyway. If at the
Mhm.
very least it should be the tent wall there.
Right. But I don't know how much I mean, that would be better, right? That certainly did not look out the back of it, but I don't know how much of any of that changes the score.
Yeah.
yeah.
That back being open doesn't really bother me that much.
That's because there's nobody standing there.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, if there was, that'd be a different story. But
Right.
that one, the way it is, doesn't really bother me that much because to Barry's point before, that's how it's actually going to look at the show, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it
It
looks
does
like,
not it does not bother me at all.
yeah, but it looks like they have storage behind the left-hand panel on the back wall.
Well, that's okay.
So,
So,
They're
You have to put
cash
it
and
somewhere.
wrap.
so they could
Well,
probably close it off.
I think now we're getting
yeah,
picky. I mean,
Yeah.
because that could also be where they hang more work. It might be their way of hanging more work,
yeah, in there.
you know,
Very true.
Mhm.
This is set up for mass sales, mass marketing.
yeah.
You have as much stuff out. There's two ways to do it. You make it look like a gallery, or you could make it look like a store that sells a lot of stuff, and that's the second. They picked the second one, and you have to be very careful when you do that. There's a fine line between the two. You don't want to have too little if you're going to do it like this, but you can't have too much too. And I don't think they, even though every space is filled with something, I think they're okay with that. Maybe it's because everything is even. It's laid out. There's nothing crooked, so I don't even mind the bins, and that's like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me that I didn't mind the bins.
I think it looks great. It is what it is, and it's up to them what their marketing strategy is. But if this is what's
Yep.
going to be at the show, then it's a nice job of presenting it. I think it goes with the images if you go back to them.
Yeah, go back to the images.
I think it's representational of what they said their images were.
Okay. Do you think this
Kind of what-
person went to all these places and shot monkeys and shot?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they specialize in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really appreciate that they did the two horizontals in the middle.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
that.
nice balance, real nice balance.
Okay.
How do you get the bear to sit still?
Bribe him.
Hmm.
I hand build from clay slabs, then paint glazes by hand before firing at mid-range.
Can we see the booth? It does not do the work justice.
Nope.
Well, particularly since the booth is a really good example of why you want a booth image, though,
Mhm.
because the
Yeah.
scale,
Exactly.
I from the work images, I was expecting totally different scale.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's fine. It's great
It
that
is. Yeah.
that's why we have booth images to help with scale, but it doesn't do the work justice.
No.
I would trash that booth and I'd start with
Set
with
up more like a gallery.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Shelves.
not exactly. I mean, you could
I
have
would,
pro panels with those, with
Yeah.
those
Shelves on it.
shelves, yeah. That
or you can use tables, just get all kinds of inconspicuous risers.
Risers.
Don't use old crates.
do you okay, do you think that the work is like 6 to 10 inches tall, or do you think it's like 2 inches tall that or 3 inches that it how it looks in the booth?
That's how it looks in the booth. I mean, that's the scale out of the image, I think. I mean, which is to me is perfectly fine. A lot of people like that sizing.
Yeah.
And not for us to judge that either, but to display it better, like with risers, the little shelves that go on top of tables. There's a bunch of ways to make this
Hmm.
look
Right.
a little better from a display point of view.
Yeah, it's fairly contemporary work, and the crates
Yes.
kind of bring it to a different, like a,
Right,
More crafty.
right.
yeah, they don't,
And
it's, yeah.
I love the work.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
do too.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the work's really nice.
I just want it to, I want each piece to be highlighted.
Mhm.
Yeah, those
In
Yeah.
crates
fact,
are totally distracting from the beauty of the work.
I want to
Mhm.
make my
Yes.
forms and I want this person to paint on my forms.
Yeah.
Really nice work.
Seeing a collab here.
Yeah.
All right. Abstract expressionist paintings created with acrylic paint applied to gallery wrapped cotton canvas.
Beautiful.
Huh?
Little better lighting in that booth would sure pop this work out so that it looks as awesome as it does in the images.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's washed out.
It's washed out.
Yeah.
Well, the booth, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be as pretty as the work is.
They're also not abstract expressionist paintings.
Well, they can call them anything they
Berman.
want.
Bingo.
Love the work.
Mm-hmm.
The booth image
Is what is washed out.
Washed out.
is just too washed out. The layout in the booth image and everything is great. But it's just that
Yeah, it doesn't have the pop that the individual pieces do.
exactly. They don't even really look like the same
Mm-hmm.
type of work.
Yeah, it
They
makes
do
you
when you
question
really
it, right?
zoom in on it, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
If I really want to nitpick, what I want to do is take on the back wall where there's two, I'm going totally against what Larry says, and I'm going to raise the one, the smaller one
Mm.
on the right, I'm going to raise it up. So
So it
there's some
does
more
look like one
space
piece.
between the two. And there's no reason why it has to be a line across.
Mm-hmm.
I find that boring.
Or drop the bottom one.
Yeah,
Move
but
it
then
down.
it's still straight across the top. And
Yeah,
that's
well, right.
a personal
Beautiful
thing.
work, though.
I like the work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jewelry, simple, classic designs using collector quality sea glass, silver, and gold, often mixing the two using traditional metalsmithing techniques. I use well-shaped, rare sea glass with historical value found on beaches all over the world and some abalone shell. Abalone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
abalone.
Yeah.
Well, I have seen these before, and I have to commend her on her beautiful bezels. Larry, did she send more than one?
Yes. The
Yeah,
the number
that's
three
better.
piece in this is a cuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't like the other cuff from a jewelry standpoint because it has that nice texture, and that's just purchased.
Oh.
And any jeweler is going to know that and kind of dinger.
Okay, well, this is why she submitted two applications.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this one much better.
Yeah, again, this is I photographed this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, I would work on her statement.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be honed in.
I think she just needs to to strike out the last sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Just take the whole last sentence out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can we see the booth image? There you go, Sharon. That's a better banner.
Yes, that's a better banner. I would just stretch it all the way across, but it's a way better banner,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
particularly since the rest of the booth is very clean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and without getting into a selling marketing advisory group, which is not the point of this, I'm not sure what to say about its starkness.
Well, I think one image on each side
Mhm.
would help. I know that's just really hard to.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
nice banner.
Yeah, the banner's awesome.
Yeah.
I I have a problem with with her presentation, but I can't tell you why.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's just a little blah, right?
Yeah.
It's just a
Mhm.
Yeah.
little blah. And it could just be because it's gray, maybe gray on gray on gray, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
but the
Yeah,
banner really does help pull
yeah.
it together,
I
you
was
know.
going to say boring, but
Blah, blah,
that was my first impression.
potato, potato,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but that's
Larry, I've been going back and forth with her a little bit. Can you tell her that I'll be happy to work with her on her statement?
Mhm.
And she's listening.
Oh, good.
I'll give you your phone number.
Okay.
All right. Paintings begin with graphite marks followed by blends of oil and cold wax on cradled wood panel, building visual texture and depth by adding and subtracting layers of opaque and transparent color.
I think my thought that this artist has had some really good advice about what her images and booth ought to look like. Because that big image in the middle of the back wall, flanked by the verticals and the matching two sides,
Yeah.
and all square
Very
abstract, and I mean, it's all, I think, great presentation.
yeah, I think I don't think this can be improved upon.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
How often do we say that?
Yeah,
Very nice.
Hmm.
yeah, good statement, everything.
Okay. Using a reverse painting technique, my mixed media pieces are created on the back of clear surfaces. And there's a second presentation that's exactly the same with just a different artist statement.
Okay, let's see the other artist statement.
Vibrant colors, transparent surfaces, and my unique reverse painting results in dazzling art pieces.
No.
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 The first one's better.
That's
That
right.
one.
Hmm.
Great.
Can we see the booth big, please? Feel like somebody's paying attention.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, she had posted this on the image evaluation group a while back, and she got some good advice.
The booth looks nice.
Does. The symmetry is bothering me a little bit. Well, look, I mean, I can't help it because it's like OCD,
Yeah.
but they should be equidistant from, but I know
Oh,
that's picky. I'm just being
Hard to
picky.
do that out in the street.
I
That
know,
is.
but that one paint, the one in the
Oh, yeah.
middle of the
Now,
tree, it's like it should be in the center of the
now,
That's right.
crease.
Well, now that I see it, I can't get away. I can't get away from that image. That's really
I
funny.
know, I can't help it. It's just a little
the whole,
OCD.
the whole
Okay.
back
You know
piece,
how we
wall pieces, they all need to be skewed
Center.
within their
Yeah,
panel.
Yeah.
but I don't think that would keep anybody from giving her giving them
No,
a bad
no,
score.
I,
not at
It's
all.
just me. It's just me. That's just me.
I'm going to try this comment. You know how we always talk about there's too much work in the booth. In
Mhm.
this case, maybe like a couple more pieces. Like,
where?
well, like on
Where?
the back wall, instead of two, have three on
Yeah,
top.
But to Camille's point about symmetry, on the back wall, the one on the right needs to be in the center of the square, the same way the one on the left is. Because since this background has got these lines in it, you might not notice if it was just regular pro panels. But if you're going to add another one piece, you got to add two.
Well, yeah. Well, you would
One-
put the middle one like right where the line is in the middle there, and then have the other two equidistant from the center. And I just threw that out I was just curious. I wasn't suggesting that they should do that. I wanted to see what you all would say.
Or if she wanted to show more, which is really, again, back to her marketing choice, she could move the one on the right over to the middle of that panel.
Yeah,
You put the little guys one above each other on the two sides right against the line. You'd be
yeah.
able to see them and then center up the bottom with some other work. But if
Yeah.
she wanted to add work, but that's her thing about, do I need more work in here or not?
Now, what
Wasn't
is
quick.
the work on the corner pedestals?
It looks like three-dimensional work that's the same
Yeah.
style.
Zoom in there a little so you can see it, please.
I don't know if it's three-dimensional or it's just a different shape flat piece.
You got a couple of hearts, a few
Yeah.
hearts.
I don't think it's 3D.
No, it's not.
No.
No. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next presentation. Oh, this was, okay. I craft jewelry using the South American wire wrapping technique of alambrismo, celebrating the beauty of gold and silver plated wire, blending technical craftsmanship with modern innovation, intricate design that pair radiant wire with gemstones and other materials to form unique wearable art.
Lose that last sentence.
Yeah.
Which, starting with blending,
Blending.
Blending.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
was going to
needed.
say the same thing. Just have that first sentence is enough.
Yeah. Work images look good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the order.
And the balance with the pendants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big booth, please.
Big booth.
Well, that's an interesting booth.
It is.
I really like it. Jewelry booths are boring. This is really nice.
I think the work is sophisticated too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that person. I mean, there's a cohesiveness in terms of style or technique.
Right.
It isn't all over the place. When you're starting out, you do one of this and one of that, and then you
Yeah.
kind of narrow it down to and this is her style.
I feel like the booth matches the work
Yeah.
in its
Yeah.
sophistication, you know.
I was going to
Just-
say that this is a good booth example of how you can get the work up where you can see it, where jewelers always have a hard time because it's in their cases laying down.
Mhm.
But this does a nice job of getting it up where you can see it. I would think that'd be a good sales thing too.
Mhm.
And her images up there and her banner pictures at the top go with her images. I like this booth image. It's a real nice.
Me too. And I'm very fussy about jewelry booth images.
Nicely done.
I had to let
Yeah.
Elvis out, so I'll have to go back and let him back in a minute. Okay, I developed a new technique that controls the placement of crushed glass frit. The frit is fired in a kiln at 1500 degrees to fuse a mix of transparent and opaque glass, giving it visual texture and depth.
artist statement needs reworking. Work images look great.
Yeah. Now, I actually went in and cropped the images, cropped out the background. Which works better?
Go back.
Hmm.
I think it's choice because I like the first one's better than the second one.
I think
I
I
do
do too.
Me too.
I think white space is our friend here.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think these are better.
Okay.
big booth.
Nice. Everybody's paying too much attention. We're gonna work ourselves out of a job here.
Yeah,
Well, it's going to make it harder to get into shows if everybody has good pictures.
Right? I mean, I
Great.
don't have a problem with the statement, Bonnie. What do you think is wrong with it?
I can't see it anymore. So,
Oh,
oh, it's just
I don't like I developed a new
there's,
technique.
mhm.
yeah, I
I
don't
don't
like that. And giving it visual texture and depth. I mean, it's just too much.
Well, maybe you wouldn't think it was too much if the first sentence was shorter about, I don't know, something about my technique or this technique controls the placement of crushed glass frit. And then it goes on with the frits fired at this temperature to give it this mix of technique.
Mhm.
And then end after opaque glass. That would be beautiful.
Mhm.
What Sharon said, and then cutting it after opaque glass.
Yes, you can do that.
You know, as far as the images, a lot of that negative space can be cropped. So the pieces will appear bigger, but still with a background behind.
Mhm.
I like them as they are.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it just like this. You actually see what it is.
They really pop
Mhm.
this way. Okay, let's go back to the booth. I think the booth is very well done.
Mhm. I agree.
I like the shelf
Mhm.
that is kind of inconspicuous.
Everything looks balanced.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
not
it.
quite sure what the center insert for old 45s is doing in there.
What?
What?
I know what you said.
Mhm.
This thing right here.
That? Yeah. I did, I hardly noticed that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny because it doesn't go with anything else.
To see if you're paying attention.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Doesn't bother me though. I noticed it, but it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I
it
glanced
didn't
at it and ignored it.
I'm
There you
sure
go.
I'm sure it's
it
made
didn't
out of
bother
stained
me. I
glass.
just thought it was funny
No, I agree with you. It's very
because
funny.
it's a good memory for us old people.
I think it's funny that we're talking about it.
Kids today will
Well,
never know what those are.
That's the truth.
Wait a
yeah,
minute. Is that a 40? What? Blow it up again. Is that a 45?
yeah. It's for the insert for a 45, so you could.
Well,
Oh, yes, yeah, there you go.
yeah.
You can't tell me you don't know what that is, Barry.
Listen,
I know how old you
I was in a market and there was music playing in the background and I said to the checkout person, "Hey, I bought that 45 when it came out." And they go, "What's a 45?"
Yep.
So
are.
I got my
Wow.
walker and and slowly ambled my way out of the store.
You mean in your wheelchair?
Well,
No,
I'm still
motorized
walking.
scooter.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm opposed to those scooters.
with a walker. Let's put it that way. All right.
Well, this person should be very happy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I paint with acrylic on wood using pencil, pastel, or metal leaves, finished with matte or shiny resin. And there's two presentations with just the difference is the booth picture. So she wants to know which is a better booth picture.
Yeah. Before I pan this one, can you blow it up? No, yeah.
Shows you the scale of the work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Next.
Can we see the other?
Yeah.
I like that there's more life to this one.
Well, that's because the lighting is better.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
There's more contrast. It was a brighter day.
Sharon and Camille, what is your opinion on applying to shows with a double booth?
I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I'd like to know that they do have a single booth, the ability to do a single booth because they might not get the double booth, right? We have limited availability, you know, but it doesn't really bother me. How about you, Sharon?
So it does bother me either. And like I said, we're doing booth assignments right now, and it's really helpful that in their comments or requests, I forget what the box is called, the doubles who need a double, who it's a double or nothing, put that in the comments, because there are artists that the scale of the work is such that it's a double or nothing. They can't do a single. I mean, so I really appreciate they put that in their comments so we know that. But from a jury point of view, I guess I personally would prefer that if their intent is to be a double, I get a double booth shot so we know what it looks like, as opposed to a single, but what they really want is a double. That's just a tough question. I mean, the double booth shots are so much smaller because they don't have the space to take up, so they don't come across as well as a single. I
Hey,
I
do
See,
could
you,
I
argue
think
this all different ways.
I think they come across better than a single if this work was shown in a single booth.
do,
Yeah,
do,
probably
do
this
you
way.
guys ever consider a 15-foot booth
No.
option?
Mm, mm-mm.
And the reason why I say that is because on rare occasions I can get a 15-foot booth, and for me, my work looks best with 15 feet across. Uh,
Well,
you know,
that being said, Barry, I wouldn't have a problem with you having a 15-foot booth in in a 20-foot space, right?
Right.
yeah,
No,
that,
but I mean, I have somebody that does that.
yeah,
They get a double space, and I'm sorry, I can't figure out how to mute this. Um, they get a double booth, and they get a double space, and they put their 10-foot thing in the middle, and they use their sides.
Size,
I,
right.
I don't have a problem with that. Like if
yeah.
Yeah, it's great for their neighbors because they get to hang on the outside also.
And see
right.
that,
Right.
yeah. See, I don't like that because then their customers are walking through my booth and all that. So
Yeah, but there is like it would be impossible for us to do 15, like
yeah,
I mean, look, Sharon will tell you and Bonnie will tell you it's hard. Doing booth assignments and booth spaces is hard. It's one of the more challenging things we have to do. And if we were to have like a few 15-foot spaces, it would be really
yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's
I'm
not
not
gonna happen.
suggesting that. I
It
just want to know
messes
if it
up the
was.
math. It's just not,
Yeah,
not
And
happening.
they
that's
don't, and
right.
they, and it's really hard to buy a 15-foot tent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we were at indoor show and we had 15-foot
yeah.
booths
Yeah.
available.
And
We
that's where
also,
I've done a 15-foot indoors.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the kicker with it is that you have to have another 15-foot right next to it, or you really mess yourself up.
Oh, yeah.
You mean
Right.
when you're laying out the show?
When you're doing layout. I would say though, I find it interesting. I don't know if Camille's finding this. The shows are so different in what assignments are too, but we have seen in the last several years an increasingly rapid growth in requests for doubles. Um, and I don't know the reason for that. I'd be interested in knowing that. I know that in a lot of cases, the boosts look better when they're doubles because they can get the work spread out better, like this, right?
Hmm.
How weird
Right.
this would look in a 10. So I don't know if that's the reason why, but it's not just going up, it's accelerating and how fast it's going up.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
one of the indie artist podcasts, I don't know, some guest, it was a while ago, like it might have been Daryl Bedford. So somebody said that they feel that their sales are increase
Mhm.
when they have a double booth,
Right.
and
it's true.
yeah, I could see that. That would be, and I do like my double booths sell out almost immediately,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's because you're determining how much you sell per square foot. At least if you have like a retail store,
yeah.
it's how much you're selling per square foot. So it's no different here. You do I'm sure you do better in a 20-foot space than a 10 by 10. What's funny, like at Coconut Grove, I have two. I'm in the middle of two 20-foot booths. And sometimes I look at it, I feel like I'm the store that's been there for 100 years, and they built all this new stores
Stuff
around
around.
me, and I'm the one that refuses to leave. It kind of feels that way a little. So, it's funny.
Well, I mean, I think like I feel like in Winter Park we never wanted to do double tents because we didn't want to give one artist an advantage over another,
Yeah.
which, I mean, and also we just didn't have the space. But yeah, I do sometimes feel that way, like your eye is going to get drawn to the doubles.
Mhm.
It just does.
Well, and this is off topic, right? And the customers have more space to walk around. They don't feel like, oh, once you get two people in a single tent,
Mhm.
you're starting to get crowded. Oh, I can have three or four or five in here. I mean, it just
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I
feels
like
better
15 feet.
than a 10. So anyway, just interesting that the numbers are really rapidly increasing.
I
We had to
also
arrange to
feel,
get enough doubles in.
yeah. I also feel like a lot of artists are going bigger. They're just going
Mhm.
bigger. I think they're realizing that it takes them as much time to go big as it does to go small, and it's a better bang for their buck.
Mhm.
Um,
Homes are bigger, ceilings are higher,
yeah, they're just going
And
bigger.
big is selling.
Yeah,
Mhm.
biggest selling.
That's
So
what
yeah.
seems to be selling right now.
Mhm.
Yep. Anyway, sorry to be distracting. It's just interesting what's happening to that.
All
It
right,
always,
should we go?
Yep.
Good information.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, a collection of everyday items that are repurposed and upcycled into a new creation. The materials are given new life and purpose in a way that I hope makes you smile.
Take off the last sentence, right, Bonnie? Go
You
on.
bet.
There's another really good illustration of scale.
Yes. Well, the work images look great.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I think I'd put the saddle as the first image, just because the pop of color is going to draw your eye.
Maybe. Oh, but
Just switch.
Then Larry's gonna have to flip that other image. He's just,
Right. Yeah, but then the buffalo will eat the eagle.
oh yeah, it's a rough world here.
Geez, yeah.
I don't know what the two square pieces are doing there.
Mhm. Different
Yeah.
artists, right? I mean, it makes me feel like
It
it's a
does.
different
It makes
artist.
me feel like, they've got two styles and they're trying to blend it into one booth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you took out the two square ones, it's a nice solid booth.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
move the guitars over.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, I just don't, they don't look like they belong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, they might if we actually could see them better, but I think
Yeah.
for this
They're
purpose,
framed. They're
yeah,
framed and
Yeah.
they're not free form. I like. Hmm.
they're distracting.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's another guitar here.
hmm
Oh.
Well,
So,
So
I
there's
will say that the hummingbird's beak
Yeah.
touching the eagle, somehow I'd move the hummingbird
separate,
back.
yeah, separate them. The eagle can move over.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless it's all one piece. I mean, who knows?
Well, the
Well, then,
scale would be a little rough.
yeah, then the hummingbird would be riding on the eagle's back.
you only have
There'd
to
be
move it an inch or two.
one big hummingbird.
He's a big hummingbird.
Oh,
All right. Moving on.
Okay,
Ooh.
dimensional stained glass panels using the Tiffany copper foil method with lead-free solder. I add depth and physical dimension to my creations, giving them several layers of glass, and the subject matter often breaks the frame of the piece, extends outside of the frame.
they need new images.
Yeah, I spoke to her about that. Her
Yeah.
They're
background,
not helping. They're not helping themselves.
right.
The backgrounds are distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess that's part of the work.
So let's see if the booth image and see if we can help this person a little.
Close the back door.
Yeah. Tighten up the tablecloths
Mhm.
because it just looks like there's a mess going on right there.
Mhm. And all this stuff on the top of them and
Mhm.
whatever all that is.
It looks like that's
Yeah.
behind the scenes, right?
Mhm.
It almost looks like from the pictures, the whole booth should be hanging pieces
Hmm.
Yeah. They need a better way
to display them.
to
Mhm.
display them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind the wire room dividers,
Mhm.
for what they are, but maybe that table could be in the back and the wire, those could be against the wall or something.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
You
it
talking
could
about those
be,
blue things?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I thought when I saw them? You get a little wind and they're going to blow over.
Well, yeah,
And
but
I hope they don't fly into my booth, which has actually happened before.
well, that's why I think they should be on the inside, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know,
against the wall.
against the wall, and that's not a bad way to display it, bring some color because the pieces are small.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And maybe they need a couple more of them and make that really an intentional display.
Right.
And if they had a couple more and then they uh,
Yeah, well, you have to open it
pin them
up for.
together and
Mhm.
have them bent like this, they're probably not going to blow. If they're inside and they've got enough bends in them and there's 3 more panels with each, and make it really intentional look of how this is how we're displaying.
Mhm.
Uh, that could be great. But
Yeah.
all that other clutter in the back is really problematic for me. And this is my bias, but I think that depending on the show level, stained glass artists have a tough road to hoe in the glass category. And so they really need to not have all this other stuff because you're trying to make that stained glass, which is an art form, really shine that and not look, this looks totally crafty.
Mhm.
They're crafty.
Absolutely.
Well,
And
That's
and the booth looks totally crafty.
No,
Right.
no, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the work. I'm talking about the booth. And
Right.
so they're diminishing their
Yeah.
work
And
by,
from a practical standpoint, you can only get a couple people in the booth.
Yeah.
You have to open it up so that in
Mhm,
case, you have there like 4 people want to come in.
And I'm not sure I like the things hanging from
mhm.
the pop-ups either. I
No.
find I
Well,
just
okay, here's one of the issues. Years ago, Armstrong used to make these frames for hanging stained glass with
Mhm.
adjustable dividers so you could hang things at different heights. And
Mhm.
they stopped making them about 15 years ago. So they're very rare. And as soon as one comes up on the, what do you call it, the Artist Garage Group, it's gone in
Uh-huh.
seconds. And that was the best way to hang stained glass.
I don't think this is bad. I just think I just think they ought to own it. I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
more of
yeah, I
it,
would,
own the
Yeah.
look.
I would
Yeah.
use the blue color of the framing that she's hanging stuff on as a theme for the booth.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I love the blue. I think it would draw me in.
I like them too. I just hate those tables behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know.
All right. Wood and natural voids inlaid artistically with individual pieces of stone, shell, and metal.
And resin? No?
And I'm gonna say, and resin, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But beautifully done and well shot and well arranged
I
and
again, I shot these.
can always tell.
And I also did its booth picture at Shady Side.
Mhm. Nice. Nice, nice.
I would use some kind of little, okay, I don't know what the things are on the shelves,
No,
but can they be propped up?
stand them up.
They're like cutting boards or
Cutting boards.
serving platters.
They
Yeah.
make for pottery, they make beautiful, yeah, those
Yep.
things that prop things
Mhm.
up, like a little easel.
Yeah.
That's not what they're called.
It would definitely give it a little more, you
Dimension.
know,
It
yeah.
would help the booth image.
I'd like to see
Man.
that table, the metal. I'd like to see more of the table. It would be kind of cool if his display pieces were wood too. Or maybe that would distract, I don't know. It just feels like that metal to me feels off.
Are those
And
cutting
maybe,
boards
yeah,
hanging
maybe
in?
if the cutting boards were propped up, it wouldn't bother me as much, but
Oh, the metal tray on the
yeah,
left.
I don't know why it bothers me, but I don't know that that would hurt my score, if I were scoring them.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not warm and the pieces are warm.
Mhm.
Right. I wish he had more than one table.
Right. Because the table's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, here it is.
It probably needs to add resin though to his description,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
because we all know that's what that is. And there's nothing
And
wrong with
it's,
this. It just needs to be what it is.
Own it.
well, and it's the new hot thing,
Yep, it is.
you know, take
What is?
advantage.
What's the new hot thing?
Resin.
I don't get out much, so I have
Resin
no
and
idea.
wood.
Yeah. Like poured resin within the wood. Like the lines is like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I've seen some amazing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I always watch the videos on TV
Or how they make
Yep.
those.
of them doing it.
Okay. Photographic images of unique, dramatic, or fleeting natural moments in magnificent wild places, presented in rich color and detail on archival metal prints. Now, he put in two presentations. The booth is the same. It's, I think, different order of images with the same artist statement.
Can metal prints really be archival?
I don't know.
I mean,
Never
it's
heard of
dye
it.
sublimation on metal, so I don't know if that's archival, you know?
Larry, can you go to the other one a minute? For some reason, I like this one better as far as the images.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, but both.
go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, this layout's better.
Mhm.
No, that layout's better.
Hmm.
And then after that, they go well with the booth. I mean, the images, this is clearly what the artist does is this work, and that's what's in this booth, and consistent and nice and neat and
Mhm.
nicely laid out. And
I
Yeah.
like it.
yeah.
Yeah, everything at the same top height, right, Bonnie?
Oh, geez.
I'm with Bonnie on that.
Thank you.
All right. Paintings on paper in gouache.
Oh, did we say how much we liked the booth image?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
I
the
like
booth.
the,
It's
I
all
like the
right.
French wall. The
Mhm.
flip bin works there beautifully.
Yep.
I see
Fine.
that.
Okay.
Okay. Paintings on paper in gouache. Is that pronounced gouache?
Wash.
Gouache?
Mhm.
I work in a figurative illustrative style focused on fine detail and bright color. Now, there was also two presentations with the third picture being different and the booth picture being a little different. So here's the other presentation.
Hmm.
I missed the hot tub.
I'm
Go
sorry.
back and forth. Go back and forth a couple times.
I would take out the rainbow one and put the hot dog in on the second one. The feeling is sharper.
Mhm.
Yeah, it goes with those other pieces
Yeah.
Yeah.
better.
I vote for this one, but a hot dog
With the
instead of
hot
a
dog.
city.
Okay.
I agree.
And I guess I would think in the artist statement, it says at the end, focused on fine detail, that's fine, and bright color. I have a problem with the bright color.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would agree.
it's not. Um,
No.
it's fine, it's just not bright. Um, which is fine, but
Yeah, I work in figurative illustrative style and focus on fine detail, period.
There you go.
Hmm.
I think to start with, this booth needs some serious cropping.
Hmm.
Um, before one even starts working on the rest of the booth. This is drawing, is that what it said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's painting, like she
Painting.
draws and then she paints with
Yeah.
gouache, which is like a
Yeah.
watercolor kind of.
Mhm.
But yeah. Look, I see the hot dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the city picture.
Hmm.
on the
On the
table.
wall.
Hmm.
Yep.
I'm missing the hot. Oh, there.
Oh,
So you definitely know these are prints, so you wouldn't want to apply to an originals only show with this.
mhm.
And you know they're prints because you can see that the rainbow, see three versions of
Different
it.
sizes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know.
And here's the
Okay.
other booth picture.
Wrinkles in your sheets at home are one thing, but no, no wrinkles. They make those lovely table covers that are stretchy.
Spandex,
Spandex.
spandex,
There you go. And they don't
right. Don't recall.
wrinkle between shows. Yeah, no matter how you junk them up when you throw them in the van.
Okay, we can store them for a year and pull them out and they're perfect. So,
And you
Yep.
can't trip on them because they go underneath the legs, so they're perfect.
yeah.
I think there need to be some bigger pieces in the booth.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Bigger originals.
that was my thought.
Here's the other booth. Yeah, it needs bigger originals.
Mhm.
I don't like those tables.
And then
To the
for
left.
right, and then for the booth picture, don't duplicate the same image in different sizes for a booth picture.
Mhm.
Right.
And I can't tell for sure, but is the great big one in the front left still have its wrapping on it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
look,
think so,
there are
right? I
corners
think it
on it.
has its wrapping and its corners on
And
Yeah.
Oh, geez. No, 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 no.
Good.
I think the different frames also bother me a little bit.
And the artist
Yeah.
statement, no identification, obviously.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really like when frames are all the same.
I
it.
do too.
They're at least similar here. There's only oh no, there's black and then the silver or whatever it is in the back left corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, let me ask you guys something. The images, are they like those are originals, those are hand
Mhm.
done?
That's what it says.
Yep.
Okay. Why have all those prints?
That's what they sell.
Depends
Mhm.
on the type of shows they've been
Right.
applying to.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just wouldn't want to use it for an originals only, right?
Right.
Right.
So
Or
depending on
or or
what they do,
show
depending what they're doing, application wise and what level shows they're doing or what not even level, but what type of shows they're doing, it's a really nice representation of their work. I might want to try to balance that back wall up some, kind of like the side one is. It's sort of
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do
And
we feel about the lights? Do you find them distracting?
Mhm.
well,
You do.
in this case, because your eye always gets drawn to the brightest part of an image.
Mhm.
I did not even notice them
Oh,
until
wow.
you said that.
They're not in the other booth.
Yeah, they're not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's why.
and
Hmm.
and that's better. I like this better.
Cleaner.
Yeah,
And
I
I
like
like
this
this
booth.
one better
and
I think
fewer
regardless.
this,
wrinkles and
Mhm.
yeah.
I think it's a better booth shot for sure.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
crop those sides and that top because it's
it's
like too
cleaner.
much going on in that, but
And
I'd
you can
like
see
to
everything.
see the teacup as the number one image.
teacups.
And then don't forget the hot dog.
Oh,
Teacup with the bees.
Rather than a hot dog.
that's
Let them grin a little further down the road.
Yeah, I think the real issue is to get the booth image built off after the next collection and improved off of that one. It's going to really help their score opportunity, I think,
Yes,
more than the images. I mean,
I agree because the images are good.
yeah, they really need to work on this booth shot and start it off the other one.
Yeah.
The other booth picture is better.
I like
Yes.
this one a lot better. I think
Yeah.
it's
All right. Acrylic and oil painting on stretched canvas. And again, there are two presentations with, I think the order of the images is a little different. It is. It's and the booth picture is cropped.
Ah, there you go. I was going to say, Larry, I can't believe you'd allow somebody to have a booth image that wasn't cropped
yeah.
from what that one is. I mean, obviously that needs
Yeah.
to crop like that.
Right.
Okay, booth image is great.
Mhm.
This one.
Mhm. Oh,
This
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So the question is now, which order is better?
That one. In my opinion, that one.
This one.
Dog on the
Yeah.
surfboard. I think the dog on the surfboard makes a good number one image.
Mhm.
I do too.
Yeah. And you
But
got the
it
good one on the good
feels,
one on the right too, which is the dogs in the car.
Right.
I think
Right.
the balance of that, but the surfboard dog is cool.
Hmm.
but it feels totally different than the other images to me.
No, it
It
doesn't.
does. I don't know. I feel like it's fairly like I feel like the driving dogs kind of balance it a little bit, no?
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
like those.
yeah,
Because they're kind of whimsical. The ones in the
right.
middle
Could,
are
Yeah.
could the driving dogs be first?
then
Now,
they'd be
This is
driving
where,
right off the screen. No.
But I like
yeah,
the surfboard. I like the surfboard one first.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think the surfboard one gets you to laugh. I did when you pulled this up, I laughed.
Yeah.
So it gets your attention
okay,
and
good.
yeah,
Hmm.
Makes you want to see more then.
yeah.
It does. It does.
Okay.
all right. Artistic wilderness and coastal landscape photographs are printed on archival paper, matted, framed with mat, and mounted on metal or printed on archival canvas wrapped over solid wood framing. There are two presentations with different images and a different booth picture. Actually, some of the images are the same. So we'll go back and forth. And the statement
Mm.
is a little bit different.
I
It's a
think
little
this
shorter.
statement.
Is this a single booth?
Good
It looks
question.
like it. Okay, I let, oh,
Yeah, it's a 10 by 10.
It
Yeah.
is. It just is shot in a way that doesn't look like that.
okay, let's go back now. Is that the first one?
Yeah. This booth looks a little more cluttered and the bin is blocking.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think I like the second.
Well, it's blocking something here too, but
Yeah. I like this booth image better. But, and I think I like this grouping of images, but I can't remember what they are.
It's the same in both of them.
it's the same feel. They're
I
all
like,
water.
I like, not this one. I like the other one better.
I
This
like
one.
the shorter statement too.
Mhm.
That's good feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time people submit different booth pictures, I should do a screen with just the two booths side by side.
Mhm.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
do that the next time.
I mean, do we need the word artistic in the statement though? Could it be just wilderness
No,
landscape
Yeah, right.
no,
photographs,
right.
Yeah, because as
Wilderness.
opposed to what? Non-artistic? I mean,
Right,
right?
No, I mean if you're cutting characters to meet the requirements of ZAP,
Mhm.
you can get rid of artistic because
Right.
that's based on the viewer.
All
but I
right.
think that's a given, it's a
Right.
given,
Right.
it's
At least he doesn't say I make.
right, right.
And you can take out R because photographs printed on archival
Mhm.
paper.
Right.
Yeah. Wilderness landscapes doesn't bother me,
No.
No.
but artistic does. It just does.
Mhm.
Hey, at least
Yeah.
it's not slot canyons.
Yeah.
The artistic thing, it's up to the viewer to determine whether
Right. Well,
they
that's
think
what I
it's
said.
artistic.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like the booth shot. I like the work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Functional art from exquisite wood slabs inlaid with contrasting wood colored resins or natural stones.
So
What the
back, see
heck
that?
is number 4?
I'm sorry?
What's number 4?
That's right.
It's a wall piece.
Mhm.
Well, I know that, but it's doesn't look like wooden resin.
It's not.
Yeah.
But the table is resin, right?
Another two are inlay.
Hmm. I don't know where the stone is.
There.
Bonnie, there's that piece.
Mhm. I think the images
Yeah.
give the impression that this is an artist looking for their voice.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
so again, it goes to depending on what you're applying to, and if you're new at this or further
Hmm.
on or what. I mean, it depends. There's nothing wrong with needing to find voice yet, but they could help themselves by straightening up these walls in this tent so they don't have all these droopy
Right.
things at the top of the sidewalls and cropping these corners off so we don't see how that sidewall is
And
pulled back.
actually,
Yeah, we all know that that's going to be an issue. So,
Hmm.
there's a piece missing from the right-hand display there.
mhm, mhm.
The strings holding the work up are distracting to me
Oh
too.
yeah, right.
It's,
Mhm.
Are they bungees? Yeah, they're
The
bungees.
bungees.
you know,
And nice, like orange and turquoise ones back there.
Well, they're
I
not
would not
walls.
use the graffiti looking
Mm-mm,
piece.
hmm
mm-mm.
Yeah, there's nothing cohesive about the booth
Right.
itself.
no.
He
Seems
needs
like
walls
they just put
inside the
everything.
tent.
But in fairness, like Sharon said, it looks like they're trying to find their voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But that's also why we're here, right?
Right. To help with that. I think that the curly Q piece that's in the right-hand corner here, if it's also in their images, probably should not
Yes.
be their images. Because that
But see,
adds to the
only one.
cohesion. But on here,
I would move the little stool in the middle.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, just move it over to the side.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
seeing it reflected in that mirror is a little distracting too.
Mhm.
Is that
Is that what
reflect?
that is?
Yeah.
That's
The top
no,
looks, no, the
The
top is
mirror.
different.
It's
no,
a
top
mirror.
is different. And the legs are a different color.
Yeah, I think
No,
that's
but
lighting.
I think that's lighting because if you look at the mirror, you can see the slatting
Right.
that it's
Right.
standing on.
And its color is different too. And so I think that's just the lighting.
Yeah.
That's distracting to have
Okay,
in the mirror because then you end up having all this conversation about it that we're
Right.
having.
Yeah. It's just distracting.
So put it over on the side or
good.
someplace.
Mhm.
And I don't know, Larry, whether in this case it's worth photoshopping this floor. Um,
Well, there's too many other issues in the booth.
Right.
yeah, there's so much going on here that this floor is not helping anything. Normally I wouldn't pay attention to a floor, but just some of those things would help this person a lot. Um,
Well,
move on with the
if it's a
voice
mirror,
question.
you drop a gradient into the mirror, so it
Right,
still looks like a mirror, but it doesn't distract.
right.
Right.
I could angle up the display a little bit. Everything is just straight across the back wall. Could be a little more artistically displayed, and that would help them move to
Right.
the next point, which would be great. Part of what our purpose is.
All right. Now, there are two presentations with entirely different images and different booth pictures.
Well,
Layered fluid acrylic on canvas create depth of color and light.
Good to know, because I thought these were altered photographs.
Yeah, me too.
Good to know it's painting.
Yeah,
Booth is great.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And here's the other body of work, which is totally different.
Jeez.
Fantasy.
Oh, well, well, it is on the images, but it's not totally in the booth.
Right.
Well, they probably mix both styles,
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can see that.
You can see that.
Yeah.
and the one that you're jurying with, you put on the back wall.
Mm-hmm.
No, the one you jury with is the one you bring.
Right.
Right,
So, yeah. Yeah.
right.
Because this is an entirely different body of work, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't mind if like 20% of the booth looks a little bit different than what they juried in, but this is entirely different,
Right.
Right.
So I don't want to see it in the same booth shot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have people walking around checking that?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that you do.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Actually, I like both bodies of work.
I
Mm-hmm.
do too.
I
And that
think this, I'm sorry, go on.
no, I was gonna say my only criticism is that they are two different bodies of work, so the booth shot should reflect each body.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just that one body.
Mhm.
And you might end up with totally different scores on both of them, right? And you might end
Yeah.
up accepting you have a high enough score, but this is the one that gets in, or the other one is, or maybe both, and then you have to
Yeah.
decide what you're doing about that. But they shouldn't be mixed like this.
No,
Because
not in the booth shot. No.
I think it's different than there's artists whose work is evolving, but
Right.
not this dramatically. And so you might see some evolution in the booth, but it's the same
Right.
body,
Yeah, this is distinctly different.
distinctly
Yeah.
different.
I think the person's technically really technically proficient.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can do when you conquer that part, then decide what you want to do and do that, or what you want to say.
I, I mean,
Or
I really don't have a problem with people having different bodies of work so they don't get bored. I
mm-hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
some people, I love when people evolve. And if both of these got into my show, I wouldn't have a problem with them having them both in the same booth. That's not an issue for
Right.
me at
Yeah.
all. But
And
I just want to, I want to know that in the booth, I want to know in the booth shot that if they only get in that one, they can carry it with just that one. Make sense, kind of?
Yep.
Yeah,
And some shows would say you scored high enough in both. We're going to take both of you. You can have two booths. One does each thing. That might
Yeah,
be the
or,
rule, or it might be that you're okay with mixing it. I mean,
yeah,
that then ends up being a show decision on what their
yeah.
rules are. But
right,
um,
right.
but you want to be clear on what, like you said, Camille, that they can carry each one,
Mhm.
and it's not confusing.
I want to know that yeah, because look, there's really only four paintings in this
Mm-hmm.
style.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
all right. Next, two presentations with different images, but the same booth picture. Matted and framed photographs printed on a variety of papers. Comments?
What was the other collection of images? Oh,
No, no comparison.
This,
Right.
I like the other.
Mhm.
but if they're going to use that booth shot, then I think they have to use these images. Um,
Can we do bigger booth shot, please, Larry?
Or Bonnie?
We're so needy.
Yeah. I really hate that they turned that one panel in.
Me too.
God, that bugs me. It's
I feel like
awful lot
they
of
need,
flip pins.
I just feel like they need to have bigger work. If it's photography, I'm sure they have larger pieces.
Mhm.
I feel like this almost makes it look cluttered with the smallers.
Mhm.
I agree.
Well, I wouldn't,
I don't
I
think it
wouldn't have a
is,
table in the center.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
I don't think it's cohesive at all. You know how to say this well, comes across to me as a bunch of pictures, not
Not a vision.
not a
Yeah.
vision, a photography vision and style and such. You know, my thing has always been about photography is that there's many picture takers and there's not as many photographers. There's
Right.
a distinct difference
Yes.
between a photographer and someone who takes pictures. And this, he may be a fabulous photographer for all I know, or she. This makes me feel like they take pictures. Not that
My
it's very
ceramic
good.
instructor, who was great, phrased that this would challenge the photographers and say, why isn't these images not what I did on my summer vacation? Why do they
Mhm,
look like this is what I did on my summer vacation? I went around
mhm.
and took a bunch of pictures.
One of my
Well,
jurors said it really well once. If they're going to be travel photographs, they better be spectacular.
Right. They
yeah.
better be really good.
You know,
They have to say something.
they better
Well,
be spectacular. Yeah.
the other thing is it's like they don't have the confidence to print them big.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. Do it or don't, right? Like
Yeah.
own
Now,
it.
Well,
this,
they might not have what might that the equipment to do that too.
I like these better.
You do?
Yeah, only because they're more unusual
Hmm.
than this.
But they're not carried through
But
in the
they,
booth.
But and
So,
they're not consistent either. See this left-hand
right.
picture with the three colors? That's on the left wall of the booth.
Oh, yeah.
It's hanging right here.
But it still doesn't make it a cohesive style.
Right,
No, not at
right,
all.
right. But I like the fact that they're more unusual.
Hmm. And in
I
some
like
ways,
the cohesiveness of the first group.
Right.
These
That's
are
really,
just like random
hmm,
Hmm.
shots.
yep. Like trying to find their voice, right?
hmm,
Right.
same thing. And photography, not quite as dramatic as jewelry, at least for shows I know. It's highly competitive.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so you got to really bring it because it's big competition in photography.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay, this was the last presentation. So I'm going to
Oh,
There
stop.
were
I'm
there were
sorry.
some really good ones this
really good
time.
stuff.
Absolutely.
They are getting
I
better.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
having the multiple images from people. And I
Mhm.
think if you could do it where the booth image, or even Larry, if you're going to do the booth image, then do the images also, one on top of the other.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll set up a template for that for the next mock jury.
Mhm. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. You could tell the people that are listening to what's being said, whether here or elsewhere.
Okay, can they ask questions?
I don't
Since
mind
we're
it.
still
I'm
here
fine.
and we're still recording, go ahead.
Hi, it's Cindy Fraser. And I had the jewelry booth that was really stark and boring. So this is brand new. It's just from my very first show. And we had to edit that booth significantly because my big, bold, colorful logo is on the front of the tables. So
Ah,
how does a jewelry maker whose booth has a big colorful logo present that in an application and not be seen as stark and boring? I also had more banners up on the tent. I had 4 or 5 up there, so it was much more
Mhm.
less stark, if you will. And I had sold a bunch of jewelry, and it was at the end of the weekend. So, yeah, what you saw was what was left. But I really, it was so helpful. I learned so much. I really appreciate it. But how does one
Oh,
get
oh,
over that issue?
okay. Why are you taking the photograph at the end of the show? I would think that you would take it at the beginning when you have everything set up as pristine as it's going to be. That's when you take
Well,
Yeah,
before
because
you
it's
put up your
I
booth, your name and
influence
all
that
that.
a
her
bit.
show.
Yeah,
She doesn't know where anything is going to be.
yeah. Well, it depends on what the setup time is, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
shows when the setup time's in the
Yeah.
middle of the night, as dark
Yeah.
as 3 o'clock in the morning. There's shows that set
yeah.
up the day before and you have
It
good light.
it ended up being a better photo for Larry to work with at the end of the show because I had moved the table. That perpendicular angled table was literally an L shape, and the booth had 3 walls up. And the show promoter came over and she said, "Let's take one of your walls down and make you a corner." And it was such a much better look for the customers walking in. It was more open, etc. But yeah, it just ended up being my best one to work with.
Somebody said they didn't see their images, but actually they came up here.
We didn't answer her question.
Cindy? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
We,
what was
we
the
didn't answer
question,
her
didn't?
question.
Yeah,
What
so
was,
I'm gonna see if we can add. I'm doing a show in the middle of February, so I will get a better shot with more banners hanging. But how do I present my booth image without my logos? Can they be on there but
No.
blurred so you can't read them, but you can see the bright colors?
I wouldn't do that.
Can you re-pull her picture, her images, Larry?
which presentation?
Cindy Fraser.
Oh,
Was that the Grays?
this.
No.
Yeah,
No,
It's a jewelry
Oh,
booth with the 2
That
white
one?
tables.
this one.
Yeah.
yeah.
so you had banners going across the front.
I had so my both of my tables have my big, bright, colorful logo with my aqua branding colors and my mermaid.
Mhm.
It's tastefully done. It's a very nice logo, but it's a big circle on the front of those white tables.
Mm,
Yeah, but I took them off
yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
you can't have any identification.
right.
right. So can you have them there and blur them just to show the jury that your booth isn't that boring and stark?
I would try it and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would too, because it doesn't bother me when somebody does that because I know why they're doing it. I'd rather them blur them out than send it with the name and I have to kick it back, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. And then all of you said we're not judging the quality of the work. Is that just because this is a mock presentation, or is that, jurors don't judge the work? They just want to see a nice booth.
No, they do
No.
judge the work.
They judge the work,
Okay.
Yeah, we're not judging the
especially
work,
We're
in
just
jewelry.
helping you create a
the
better
quality of the
presentation.
work.
Got it. Awesome. All right. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for your help.
Okay.
Cindy, I will be, this is Bonnie. I'll be
Yes.
happy to work with you if you'd like my help.
I would absolutely love that and appreciate it. And I tried to friend request you on Facebook, but it told me I don't know you. So
Oh, geez.
Larry can share my contact info. And
Okay,
I so appreciate that from you. Really. Thank you.
certainly.
Could I get a little feedback on my booth statement? When I think I was like the third or fourth slide with the trees and the right, yeah, that one. Um, Someone said it wasn't descriptive. I'm still a little confused on what shows are looking for. I've had like a bunch of different iterations. So like I tried to pare it down, but then maybe I pared it down too much.
Like painting on canvas
Well,
would be materials and technique.
Okay.
yeah, it's materials and technique.
Okay.
Where in this statement is there materials and technique? Nowhere.
Okay.
You say imaginative. That's you're judging what
Objective.
it is by saying imaginative and surrealistic. it isn't up to you to make that statement within the statement.
Yeah, yeah.
In your
So I
booth,
mean,
you can say that
it's just like
unless there's a specific, and I really would wish shows would have a separate category or separate uh, um, statement, for uh, artist statement.
Not,
In other words, have
not for the jury.
material in your application. There'd be one for material and technique and another one that just says artist statement. To me, there's two separate things. And people mix them up. Even when we're talking about it, we're mixing up the words. So, it's one or the other.
so
Or
just
both.
like
So read the application
Right.
and make sure that you fully understand what they are asked, that particular show is asking for.
some shows are really clear, but a lot of them just have like a category that just says like insert statement. And
Right.
So is
Well,
it just
that's
like
because there's in this application, you can actually write it out and
yes?
you don't have to retype it. You can take it from. That's what the insert the statement is from. You're inserting
Yeah,
a statement that you already put
save
in.
it in your
So
profile.
that
Yeah.
statement though is just materials and technique. So
Mhm.
like just acrylic
That's
paint.
what it says.
Okay.
And yet, I think there was one show where the director said, "Well, we want to know this other stuff. We want to know what you're doing. We don't want to just know that. Well, then ask for that. Don't ask for um, technique and then want something else. And then also, you can't do it in 100 letters. So you have to, if you want a bigger thing, make it 300 or 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when you have a question and you can't figure it out from the application, email email the show, you know?
Okay.
I mean, they should I think that's part of our responsibility is to be able to help you and guide you.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I can't second that enough, Camille, that every director I know anyway, or
Yeah,
their staff
Charlie
person
is
who handles
very-
artists, which we have a separate staff person, but I would talk to somebody too. All of us that I know would talk to artists about
Yes.
questions to clarify,
Yes, but
would look at images ahead of time, tell them what's good, what bad, about the image, not about their artwork, because that's the jury's job, but about
Yeah, because
about the
was fourth
presentation.
Yeah.
We talk to artists all the time.
Yep.
And would you prefer emails or
Right.
phone calls?
I would prefer emails.
Yeah.
Me too.
I knew the answer. I just wanted to put that out there.
You
Thanks.
can give me your phone number if I feel like it would be more productive to call
Mhm.
you back.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Didn't I put
Email.
3:30 in the email?
You did. And that said about contacting, right, for guidance and what have you, respect that 50 to 60% of our applications come in with the last 2 weeks.
No, I
So
I
please
start
call
off-
ahead, not the last, we don't have the time to do it when we're
Listen.
coming up on application deadline.
Yeah, I
Larry?
can't stress that enough. I mean, literally 2/3 of mine come in the last
Right,
like week.
right.
Insane.
mute yourself, Larry.
Wait a second. What, Bonnie?
Mute yourself, Larry.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone. Well, I
Other
didn't want
questions?
everyone to mute,
Good night.
but we could hear all of Larry's conversation.
Okay,
Yes,
sorry
we can.
about that. They can hear me talking.
So I
Okay.
think there's a question in the chat about why shows ask for social media handles and websites. I can't obviously speak for everyone, but in our case, we don't use them for judges. Maybe there are shows that do that to check other things. Now, we might, if we have a suspicion that the artist is a buy-sell artist, if we have that suspicion, we will go look at websites, social media, Google them. I mean, that we might do that. But when we're talking about artists in total, we don't necessarily use those for anything. What we use them for is promotion afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
We use them because if you follow our Facebook page now, you can see how much promotion is going on for artists. So we use them for that sort of thing. We don't use them for jurying.
Yeah, we don't either. I actually took them out of the application this past year because I was tired of people thinking that we were doing that.
Mhm.
We asked for them once they were
Just
once the
me.
artists were invited. But it's difficult because nobody's responding. So now I can't promote as many, only 100 artists have given me their information. So I think I have to go back to it the other way. I was trying to do it to be more respectful, but we don't,
Mhm.
you know. Sharon
It
knows what.
is so hard to get promotional things from artists.
Yep.
If there was one thing I would highly recommend, once you're in the show, if they ask you for any particular kind of promotional stuff, it is free advertising to get people into your booth.
It
I
really.
just don't understand why everyone does not send a full compliment.
Mhm. We just sent a newsletter out about that if for promotional things that they could send. And now I forgot what I was going to say. Artists could share, like, comment on this stuff that
Yes.
the shows are putting up because it helps the distribution for all of us. So we get more, everybody gets more business, and how important that is for artists to do that.
May I ask a clarifying question about that? What exactly it would be promotional material that you would want?
In my opinion, press release information if you've done a video about what you do in your studio, you did a video from some other location, that sort of thing was interesting after we did a couple of Facebook posts when we first started our promotion for this year. I had an artist email me a video about that he had done in his studio. It was short, 45 seconds. I'm like, thank you, because this will be up in about 3 days. I mean, if more people would send that, we'd put them up, right? Now we could go to your websites and find everything. We could go to your Facebook page and download it all. Yeah, that's not going to happen. We don't
There's
have
no
time to do
time.
that. There's no time. But you send it to us, your odds of being on one of our Facebook posts are pretty good.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yes, that's it. Everybody's muted.
They're afraid I'm going to holler at them.
Well, I put a question in the chat that I didn't get any feedback on my artist statement, but maybe that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a good
Well,
thing.
let's see her. Let's see it. Larry?
What
That's
number?
probably a good thing.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it is a good thing because we're looking for things wrong. So
Right.
if I didn't
908.
say anything, it's probably fine.
Um,
You find mine, Larry.
yeah, I can find it. I got to share again.
And I left a message in the chat, Larry.
Nine oh eight. Here.
That's 908.
Oh,
Right?
Oh,
your artist statement says
perfect.
everything it needs to say. It's
Those
perfect.
were fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
And really fun work. I love it.
Great.
loved it too.
Will you,
Thank you.
if I bring some pieces that are unglazed but fired, will you paint on them?
What do you fire at?
I can
What?
fire at any temperature.
Okay.
I can
All
do
right.
anything. I can low fire, medium fire, high fire, salt fire. No, well, I won't do salt fire. Soda fire. You know, I learned it all.
There's
Okay.
one,
I
there's
do
one
rack.
other-
I do raku pieces, but I'm sort of stuck on it. So
Ah,
I
gorgeous.
I need
there's
I need about 1,000 hours of therapy to get me to do something different.
There's two other artist statement questions.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, yeah, there's two others. Jamie and Emily Krill.
Emily, number one.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Hmm.
It's too wordy.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think I should cut out?
Um, Starting with the found materials, I
Yeah, you don't need
guess.
to say the found materials are as old as the 1800s and include blueprints. You don't need to say that.
Okay.
No.
Well, if you wanted to keep the found materials, just taking out, is it what you're saying, Barry, as old as the 1800s and take that out, leave, include blueprints,
Well, just
etc.
yeah. And does that matter? You know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, I think antique papers are painted with ink, then cut and pasted into joyful large-scale images. That's
Can you see the the type from the 1800s on the paper?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's part of it. So you might want to say that, but
Yeah, I
But
feel like the materials are a huge part of it. That's why I wanted to give
yeah.
examples.
yeah, but
Oh,
antique and 1800s are the same thing.
right.
right. Okay.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with you saying blueprints player. I don't really have a problem with you listing the materials.
Yeah.
Would probably try to shorten it. Like you
Uh,
probably don't need to say, you probably say antique papers, blah, 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 materials such as
Okay.
blueprints.
Yeah.
I think you could just make it tight. But it is kind of cool that you're using ornately handwritten ledgers, right?
Yeah.
And braille,
Yeah.
and I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think all these things that are listed are cool. Who would have thought you might use piano paper and
Mm,
penmanship lessons and canceled checks? Really? Who does? I mean,
yeah.
in a good way, right? I'm not criticizing that. It's like, oh, that's really interesting. And I don't necessarily get that
Hmm.
from the images. I probably
Yeah.
get that if I'm standing in your booth looking at them, but I don't know that I get that from the images. And it's cool to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's true.
Okay.
And that booth image is just killer,
Yes.
Really,
Thank you. Thank you.
With or
really
without.
wonderful work,
which I've
I
said
wonder who
before.
shot it. Larry shot it.
So my dinner date is almost here. So can we do the other statement, which was whoever we didn't just talk to?
Who
It was. I'm sorry, guys. I'm recovering from like the worst flu. You already
either a
talked.
name or a number.
I was the other person who wrote in the comments, and we talked about mine first. This is Jamie.
Okay.
So thank
What
you so much. I'm sorry,
I just
guys.
wanted to be sure that artist statements are always an important thing, so that we had covered everybody's.
There's one other person that had a question. Where did he go?
Anybody? Anybody?
That was Roy.
Oh, he wants to get some feedback, but he didn't send anything this time.
Right.
He could put it in that, what's the Facebook group, Larry?
Jury image evaluation, and he does. He posts there.
Your best bet, though, is to come on here
Yeah.
Well, Roy's on
next
every
time.
week. And I give him a hard time every week, not purposely, it just happens. He's a good guy, you know.
That's why I love you, Barry.
It's just like you know, it's
I
just
know. Mary
yes,
Ann
he's
worked on.
beginner questions.
Yeah,
It's
I know. She worked on 3 new paintings, and I didn't get to the application in time. So, but I wanted to put I guess what I'll do is I'll go ahead and submit the 4 images along with the booth shot. I could do that in the image evaluation, couldn't I, Larry?
Well, yeah, but you're not going to get the same feedback
Oh,
that you would get here.
yeah, I know. I know.
You're not going to get the same quality
Right.
of
Right.
responses.
Right.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
point of view.
Right. Exactly.
All right. I want to thank the jurors.
You're welcome. I personally, I know Bonnie and Camille feel this way too, from our point of view as having run shows, but that me anyway, I think both of them too, part of our mission includes this kind of work,
Helping artists improve.
helping artists, right?
Yeah.
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 That's been my goal for the last 20 years.
Yeah, helping artists is, and since we're celebrating our 25th year this year,
Woohoo!
And this year, Zap is going to be 21 years old.
yeah,
I was a beta tester in the very
Mhm.
beginning.
Yeah, I was a consultant in the beginning.
Yeah, hard to believe it's been that long, right? And we had to do this some
Jeez.
other way.
Slides, carousels that would fall. Great.
I love the slides.
The big red dot.
Yeah, that's right.
I was
Love them
just thinking
until
You know-
they explode when you're trying to change the carousels because someone didn't lock them, right? And then you have to put them all back in the right order.
I had to
And all
take
the
9 months
all the
off.
new artists who haven't a clue what a red dot's for.
They had no
Yeah.
idea. No
Listen,
idea.
I had to take 9 months off to take care of my mother, in Detroit. So I went there and so when I got back in again, it was right at the time when they were switching over to Zapplication. So when I got back, it was all different. It was like, wow, look at this,
I mean, it does. The beautiful thing about Zap is we have such a history.
Yeah.
Like I can go back 21 years and see what somebody submitted 21 years ago.
Mhm.
Would be you, Barry. I'm just saying.
It could be.
Some-
Hey, I don't care.
Sometimes it's the same thing.
You'll
No,
go,
but it's really very helpful,
yeah, it
Mhm.
was so much better then. What happened?
No, you're a rock star, Yeah.
Well, my dinner date has arrived, so if
All right.
Nice.
can I
Sarah,
Sharon,
say-
Nice.
I'll
Seeing
holler at you
Sharon.
tomorrow because I've got a question for you. So
okay, sure.
Or
Do you have my
Barry.
cell number?
I
Oh,
think
Sharon.
so. I should still have it, right?
Yeah, and if you don't, just send me an email and
I'll
I'll.
send you an email. Yeah.
I don't have any appointments tomorrow, so I should be. That
I have
doesn't
an
mean I'm
11
not busy,
o'clock.
right? But at least I don't have any appointments tomorrow.
Yeah. I've got them all through.
I love those days.
I know, right? I just looked at my calendar. I'm like, oh, look at that. Nothing I have to talk to anybody about, but that'll change overnight. So
Yeah.
Well, this has been wonderful,
Thank you
as
for having me.
always.
yes, thanks,
Thanks for
Larry.
having
Great
me.
to have me here.
And thank you all.
Thank you so much for all of your time. It's really so helpful.
Hey, Sandy, where do you live?
Good.
Austin, Texas.
He really wants to do a collab. I'm just saying.
Well, we'll see
It's
what
the hot
happens,
thing now, collabs.
about we'll see what happens with Cottonwood or what's another one that I
Main
applied
Street.
This is not come.
Main
Fort
Street.
Worth.
to? Not me, well, not Fort Worth, but I didn't get in this year in Fort Worth, so it can't be Fort Worth. What's the other one that's the same weekend? The one in Richardson, Texas.
Woodlands.
Woodland.
No,
Oh, that's
Houston.
Cottonwood.
No, oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
there's another one. It's the same weekend.
Bayou
Used to be
City.
the Dallas 500.
No,
That doesn't exist.
I know.
and I will do Bayou City. What am I thinking of? Gee, if it wasn't so
It's only-
scenic.
I don't know. I wish we had a good show here in Austin.
You
Can't
have a
believe
show
that
there. I
you
wish you had a
don't.
good show in Austin too, because it's
What
fun
isn't
place.
there
Dude, 'cause
waterways
come
or
visit.
something?
Hmm?
I'm
What-
No,
sorry.
that's Woodlands. That's in Houston.
Oh.
Hey, listen, I did it once, and the week after, it rained so hard it flooded, and if it had been that weekend, it rose 20 feet. Every booth would have been underwater. It was
That's
just a
like-
timing thing. It was
That's
weird.
like Cincinnati's summer fair. They have high water marks on the trees.
Great. That's great.
It would be over the top of a canopy.
Yeah. That wouldn't be fun.
Down here in
Okay.
Miami, your booths just fly away. So,
Float away. And Virginia Beach, they fly away.
Well, I don't know, Barry. Barry was with me last year when the winds were so strong. Our like the police tent blew because it wasn't weighted.
They
You know,
were.
yes.
See, where I am, we don't get, we're blocked from all that. I don't remember it being windy. But then again, I don't know.
On 27th Street, it was insane. Like I have a
Really?
20 by 20-foot merch booth with those big 100-pound blocks. My team in there literally was grabbing onto the top and holding it down because it was going flying. It was insane. It was just insane. And it came out of nowhere, so we had to shut, but we
It
had no,
usually does.
yeah, it just out of nowhere. It's like, poof, So anyway,
Well, I took down Coconut Grove one year under a tornado warning.
oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
That was fun,
gosh. I mean,
especially since you don't know what counties are around and all these places they're talking about.
What about palm fronds blowing up the trees or coconuts?
You know what? No, I make them go. I make the grounds team go and shake all the coconut trees before the festival starts
Yeah,
because we literally had a coconut almost fall on a kid's head.
yeah. Well, and those palm
The
fronds aren't
things you
small
don't
either.
think of.
They're heavy.
I never thought of that. I didn't have that problem in Coconut Grove. I didn't have
Isn't
that
it
problem
funny that things you
in
never
Winter Park.
would think of actually happen? It's
Yeah,
never a dull moment.
never a dull moment. And as soon as you anticipate everything, something else pops up. But it is what it is. Still fun.
Okay, it's been great. I'm leaving.
Okay. Have
All
a
right,
good
Okay.
night,
Bonnie.
everybody.
All right.
Barry,
Thanks
I'll
See you
see you
again.
later.
soon.
See y'all.
All right.